Hello and welcome to Animated Wonders, an Explosion Network podcast where we celebrate animation in all of its forms. This is Animated Wonders. In this season, we'll be discussing all the films from Mamoru Hosoda. Hello, my name's Don Blight, and joining me to discuss this week's Animated Wonder is Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here this time and probably the next time, and this is definitely the first time we're saying this.
It is. Before we get into this week's movie, I guess, just quickly, brand new show, of course, joining the Explosion Network podcast library of never-ending shows. We're calling this a spiritual successor to a show that we did 2-3 years ago. I don't know how old it is. It's definitely like at least
4 or 5.
4. Good lord. Okay. Yeah, cool. So we did a show called Studio Ghibli's Animated Wonders where we ran through all of the Studio Ghibli films and discussed them each. Shortly after finishing that, we began discussing doing a Disney show or something else show, and that idea has sat on the back burner for, I guess you're saying, 4 years. Cool. And now we're here with Animated Wonders. So we've just dropped the Studio Ghibli part of the title. It is totally just Animated Wonders.
Very creative.
Very creative, yep. And yeah, each season of this show, we will be focusing on a franchise, a series, or in this case, as we're kicking off with a director. But the feed will also be a home for discussing brand new animated films as they come out in the cinema as well. So it should be a pretty active podcast that we can fill with both, as we're about to kick off with a discussion of older stuff leading into a brand new film, or maybe we just do a series of, even if there's not something coming out, maybe just a bunch of animated stuff anyway, or just talking about the brand new stuff. So later this year we'll be doing all the Toy Story stuff and the Minions / Despicable Me stuff, and then talking about those new films. But other animated stuff that comes out we'll be talking about on here as well. So just discussing everything in the wonderful world of animation, I guess. We haven't talked about if we'd do animated TV series, but the doors are wide open to anything that involves
catches our fancy.
Catches our fancy and does all sorts of animation involved. And so we're kicking off with anime, Japanese animation.
I will say,
course, but,
Studio Ghibli's Animated Wonders, 2020.
Wild. Okay, so this is coming out 6 years after that podcast.
Yeah,
there's something
we recorded about this time, I think.
Yeah, there's something to be said about something like sometimes I just forget how long we've been doing shows. 6 years. Wow. All right, so getting into the very first episode of Animated Wonders. This week we are talking about The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, released in 2006. Comes from Japan. Director is Mamoru Hosoda, who this first season will be all on their films. Written by Satoko Okudera, based on The Girl Who Leapt Through Time by Yasutaka Tsutsui. Comes from was done by Madhouse Animation and put out by Kadokawa Herald Pictures. The main cast was, I've just gone with the main Japanese cast, but Riisa, Naka, Takuya, Ishida, Mitsutaka, Itakura, Sachie, Hara. Synopsis: a high school girl named Makoto acquires the power to travel back in time and decides to use it for her own personal benefits. Little does she know that she is affecting the lives of others just as much as she is her own. This was my first time watching this. I hadn't actually watched this one before, but I'd heard all about it. Obviously, I think the poster / cover art or whatever, seen many times over. Like, I'm well aware of the film and obviously the director and his future films. So the next one in the line that we'll be doing is Summer Wars, which I did watch when that released. I remember getting the Blu-ray when it came out from Sanity, when that was still a place. So I was expecting it. I had at least good expectations because I've watched several of the other films, but I was my first time watching it. What was your? Have you seen this before? Or?
No, I had not seen this before. I'd also watched other ones of his film out of order. So just having a quick look, I think I watched 1, 2, 3. I've watched 4 of the 6 that we're going to be covering this before Scarlet comes out.
Yeah,
later this year.
Good.
So I think you're probably a similar number then.
Some of those Wolf Children, Mirror. I've only watched 3. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, the image of her jumping,
leaping, or whatever. Yeah,
leaping.
Jumping,
yeah, that is. I've seen that a lot.
Yeah.
Whether it's like hovering over this title to potentially watch, or just in it being mentioned in various articles and that kind of stuff, it's kind of iconic, that look.
Yeah, I think it's an iconic poster for sure. So what were your overall thoughts, general reactions to the film?
Dylan, I'm sure you know this about me, but I love a time loop movie.
Yeah,
I love the time travel stuff.
Love a romance time travel, yeah.
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 So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I was very riveted in kind of the mundane way she kind of used some of the time travel to like kind of make certain things better or avoid certain things, and then kind of getting all the way through to like getting to a point where you're like, oh, she's kind of explored everything, and then getting at that big reveal towards the end of the film that I didn't see coming, was really cool and kind of gave the final act kind of this interesting twist and flavor to it. So yeah, just a really interesting story about a girl who gets time travel abilities and the cause and effect of her actions, and that kind of stuff. And then obviously, you know, what happens, I guess. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. I think it's I guess the one take on it would be that it's not very exciting because she doesn't use her time travel stuff in particularly exciting ways, but that's sort of the point. Like she uses them in mundane ways, but still has larger effects on things. Like you don't always need to time travel back to try and kill Hitler to make big changes, you know. So the ripple effects and stuff. I thought it's generally a quite funny movie, especially the karaoke part. Just her like rolling into that room over and over again. There's also just something funny about every time she time travels,
she has to leap, and
she just ends up rolling like a cannonball, bursting into a room or an area every time. So yeah, there's something quite funny about that. And the core trio of characters, I thought all like had you could sense good chemistry between those characters and their relationships as they built across the film. So yeah, I thought it was good. And then I think by the end of it, it definitely like that last like 20 minutes, I guess, takes a more serious tone or somewhat, like because the first like 2 acts of the movie I feel like is a little bit more lighthearted and fun with what's going on. I mean,
she does almost die. She almost gets hit by a train.
Yeah.
Which is kind of serious.
Yeah, but then she doesn't, so yeah, especially in a world where she's using her powers to try and set up people romantically or try and just
avoid having a conversation.
Or being able to eat more food or stay up, go back to bed, sleep in longer, and just all these very like teenage things, right? So
yeah,
for the like that part where she begins exploring all of her powers and stuff, yeah, I thought it was quite funny. So I don't really have a point. So before I get into some of the things I've written down here, I saw after watching it, and I Googled it, I saw someone point something out and I went, oh yeah, that makes sense. So apparently, and it is implied, I guess, I just didn't really pick up on it, but it does make sense. The auntie is her. Is the thing that I've seen many people point out online.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why she knows so much about time travel, and she's like all into like saving paintings and all these other things. People have said it's like in the book it's there, but in the film just sort of implies it.
So I assume that in the book, at some point down in the future, she's able to time travel again, I guess. Goes back and actually becomes the person who restores
the paintings.
The painting.
Yeah, you know? Which makes sense given the way that the movie plays out. But that was the one thing I was like, I kept, because there's even part where they zoom in the photo, like even stuff when she's talking about the love of life, and like she's like, yeah, like I used to have someone like that, then we got separated or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I guess that all does make sense, like when she's having those conversations. And
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's an interesting wrinkle to add to it, but it doesn't like
it doesn't affect anything. Which
it doesn't affect anything. It's not a necessary thing to know to make the film work. But yeah, that's really interesting.
But that is my like. I googled the movie and that find several forums of people being like, "Oh, by the way, this is like it's not said directly in the film, but yeah." Like, all right, cool. So for core themes in the breakdown, this one I wrote down. I don't know what you take from it, or if you agree with these ones. The two I wrote down was cherish the present and keep moving forward, which was my takeaway from the way the movie plays out, at least, because it by the end of the movie, she of course has to accept letting go, and there's just not the time that they can be together as much as she wish, and she can't keep trying to go back to fix and move all these chess pieces of people into the perfect little scenarios. So I think like as I guess Monday or just very straightforward as is like if I was to pick one main theme, it just seemed to me be like, yeah, sometimes life is hard and rough or whatever, but you know, cherish what you got in the present and just always keep moving forward in life. Don't get like hung up on the past or past decisions and stuff. What would you agree? Or
yeah, I would agree. I mean, definitely the third act kind of influences that and hits heavily on it. You know, like I think it's also potentially a film about bike safety. You can get bike maintenance regularly. You know,
I mean,
check your brakes. You know? Well, that was the thing. He checked the brakes didn't break until down that hill because he checks the brakes when he gets on the bike the first time with the girl and that kind of stuff. So, and maybe like reading into the relationships around you and like not being like having greater ambitions or like, you know, she didn't want that relationship until it was
not a thing,
you know, so not until she couldn't have it, you know.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting note in my mind anyway.
Well, I did write down love comes in mysterious ways. Well, I guess like love comes in mysterious ways and be open to it. Well, I don't know, like.
And also sometimes people are just oblivious to your feelings, you know. Neither of those dudes knew that people had crushes on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Guys.
Yeah. Guys.
Oblivious
can't
beings.
read any of the signals. Although one of the girls did fall in love with him based on her grandmother's description. You know,
I mean,
which is
the world moves in mysterious ways.
The world does move in mysterious ways.
So who's to say? Yeah. So I didn't think there was like, because I guess we've had so many time travel animes or even movies, I guess in general. Think about there was like, you know, a lot of like the themes and ideas playing in them usually, but I really didn't think, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but I really didn't think there was a lot more to it than possibly just, you know, embrace the present. Is that sort of?
I think it was just a simple story with, you know, fun elements. I don't think it was going for anything deep or poetic or anything like that, you
know. Animation style, I found it very fun. It's very I'd call it like just stereotypical anime, I guess, as far as its look.
Yes,
I don't think it looks dated or anything.
It had the like when she was jumping and there was the depiction of the world,
the time
or the timeline, I guess.
Yeah,
that looked like some of the work that Hosoda does later.
Yeah, even that straight away in the next.
A lot of that imagery and that kind of thing, you know, feels a consistent thing without it through at least what I've seen.
Yeah,
you know?
I'd say like the characters very like they're fine. Like I don't feel like there's any like it's good animation, but I wasn't like blown away. Other than I would agree, the stuff you're talking about, the time stuff is definitely stands out, and you can see the fingerprints and that future stuff. But yeah, I thought the animation, but it's still like it's came out in 2006, so I didn't feel like it like didn't hold up or anything as well.
No, so it looked like an anime that would come out today. So I mean, some of the most I think like what is it? There's like when they freeze time. All that kind of stuff looked really cool towards the end, and I think there's like a section where there's like horses running through for some reason.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Which seems like a weird thing, but that looked pretty cool. Like, or at least stylistically different to the rest of it.
I'd say stylistically, yeah. When the time freezes, it's like everyone's like sort of silhouetted, or I don't know. Like it did look different. They're
just out of color or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
So I guess that added something to it. Yeah. Who do you reckon this movie's for? I'm going to ask this every week. This is going to be a continued question solely because of the whole like animation. I'm going to play into the animation is for kids thing, but a little bit. But yeah, who's this movie for?
I mean, easy answer would be teen girls because that's the protagonist. But I think it's for anyone who likes time travel stuff. And is maybe not the smartest person in the room. Needs the extra study time to get that high score in that pop quiz, that math quiz. For the people who get there at the last minute.
You motherfucker. I was gonna say it seems like it would be like a good. I'd say the target audience would be the character's age to me. I feel like that'd be good. Like if he was high school, like it feels like a good high school age movie watching it. You got the relationship, the stuff. You've got the worrying about what are you going to do after, what are you going to study, what are you going to do, all those sorts of things. The weird, oh my god, he said he likes me, but I'm going to rewind time and not deal with that because I can't think of what to say to answer that. So I feel like I'd say
I don't want things to change. I think is more what her response was in the moment.
Yeah, I just want to keep living in this. The three of us, this moment forever.
Because, her aunt mentions 2 times. Why aren't you just dating one of these boys?
Yeah.
Because, yes, she doesn't want things to change. You have to accept time moves forward.
Yeah. It doesn't stay
still. It doesn't stay still. Yeah.
All right. So each week on the show, in a segment of hilariously called Wondrous Elements, I want you to pick the 2 things that stood out for you the most. So the list is, and I'll read them out every week. For this film, what stood out the most? Animation, visual style, music and sound design, voice performances, world building, or emotional impact?
Of that list, I would probably say the world building and the emotional impacts. Because they very quickly set up a bunch of characters in that school and how she's impacting them, whether it's the clique of girls who are trying to get their friend dating one of the boys, or it's the dude she fucked over by tricking you to putting the thing in the boiling oil or whatever, who gets relentlessly bullied through the film and ends up throwing a fire extinguisher at a girl.
That's a very weird.
That's a lot, and like an extreme reaction.
Also, when that guy jumps in front, I'm like, just pull her out of the way, dude. Like, you don't need to jump in front.
Knock the fire extinguisher to your hand.
Also, it was pretty good throw. Like, I mean, I know it's empty, but
the animation in that was really good. You could see the struggle.
Yeah,
really well.
But it
took a very long time, and it was surprising that it went that distance.
Yeah. I nearly thought it was going to play out with him just like attempting to throw it and it going about 30 centimeters in front of him and not going much further. But good job. The adrenaline got in.
Definitely now the emotional aspect with their final goodbye.
No, I agree. That would be the 2 picks for me as well. The world building, and in this case, the world being the school, and the general family and all that sort of stuff. They do a very good job of establishing the main characters, and then a bunch of side ones, including the guy with the fire extinguisher across the type of the film across here to see. So world building or school building across that, and then the emotional impact. I think I was saying it's a very funny movie for most of it, but then it does a good job at paying off the emotional impact of that last the third act of the film.
They also built up a lot of people who just watched her jumping and had to witness her thus landing awkwardly several times, including the kids by the lake who are throwing rocks, who reappear several times.
Yeah, she just disappeared for a second. Favorite scene, sequence, or character from Girl Who Leapt Through Time.
I think it is when he asks her out while they're riding home, and her using her abilities to try to not have that conversation, and just the kind of shock and obliviousness of her, the audacity she has of him even asking the question in the first place. I think that was really good, so.
Also the sort of at the end when she's thinks she said goodbye forever and then she starts bowling and then he comes back. That was sort of the very heartfelt moment. So.
Were you surprised he didn't kiss her in that moment?
Yeah, I was a bit, to be honest.
Like, he's going into whisper in her ear.
Yeah,
not even a hug. I thought he was going to hug her goodbye at least, but no, he just
leant in and whispered 6-7. Like, what are we... Sorry, I just dated this.
Yes.
Someone's listening to this.
Well, hopefully you dated it. Hopefully that dies off and isn't still a thing in 2050.
Yeah, someone's listening to this years from now. Like, what the hell is 6?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, kind of romantic. Like, we'll see each other again. Like,
yeah.
In the hope, because he never really establishes what time he comes from, other than it's the future where they've invented time travel.
Yeah, and they never really. It's just like in the future, everyone can time travel. Okay, you don't really know how.
It's like, ask me this question: have you been born yet? Like, technically in this era, like, am I dating a minor?
Well, I think what they get around that by being like he is the same age, but he's just time traveled.
Yeah,
from the same age. Yeah, so, but I mean. Technically, he would be negative, whatever. So,
I will say the reveal that I also enjoyed the reveal that I mean, the first hint of it. Have you been leaping through time on the phone? Very random, surprising. And then him showing up post that traumatic scene of her friends getting killed by the train in her place. I think, very effective as well and kind of setting up this final act, Also the fact that she wasted her last jump along some mundane shit.
Yeah.
That really didn't matter.
But I mean, that's what she'd been doing.
Yeah. How did you not notice it straight away?
Well, yeah, I mean, you would think, be like, what is that, cancer?
I would be keeping track of this constantly. How did nobody else notice? Would be the other thing.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, did you get a friggin' tattoo? Or
No. I guess when I was in high school, everyone used to draw on their arms. I don't know if
that's true.
So
why do you keep drawing numbers on your arms?
Yeah.
Is he counting down to something?
You used to draw those cool S's and shit.
Is it a 10 or a 1?
Well, yeah.
It's just fortunate that she was looking at numbers that look the same upside down or
Yeah. Worked in a benefit.
This is an 8 or a 5,
They did it when you get a tattoo, you're supposed to have it face out, not in. So
yeah.
Where do you think this movie places in animation history, and or do you reckon it has a place in animation history?
Again, I feel like the poster is iconic and kind of very recognizable. So I feel like in that regard, it's definitely. I don't know what we consider animation history. I mean, it's there in animation history because it was made.
It's a very broad question, but
obviously, I feel like it being Hosoda's first original film probably also gives it a couple of extra.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Yes, I think the poster's iconic, so I'm saying yes. This question has no rules. It's just I'm going to say yes solely because of the poster. I think the poster's memorable. I think the movie itself is good, but I don't think it's I think we'll get into more movies that he's actually more recognizable, memorable for. But I think the poster is very memorable. So,
yeah.
Any final thoughts on Girl Who Leapt Through Time?
No, lots of fun humor. Lots of baseball. It's crazy to think baseball is such a massive thing in Japan.
Yeah, Japan loves baseball.
One of them baseballs, and they did some solid getting hit in the face animation or hit in the head. Yeah, and just a lot of fun little sequences. I love that she, her meet cute, the where the girl gets injured because the dude throws. Who's throwing dudes around the as well? You know.
Yeah.
Also, her dodge of that as well.
Yeah, where she like goes full like Neo, leans fully back. Yeah, that's quite
crazy. Good. You know. Yeah. Really enjoyed it. So.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Animated Wonders. Let us know what you thought of the film on social media at explosionnetwork.com/follow. If you enjoyed the show, you can find more podcasts, reviews, and pop culture coverage over at explosionnetwork.com. And if you'd like to support the podcast and Explosion Network, head on over to explosionnetwork.com/support. Until the next episode, remember that animation is cinema.